the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Director. Program. Here. Director Hanson.
Here.
Director Ballantyne.
Here.
Director Parker.
Here.
Director Allred. Here. All board members in attendance. Item C. Do we have any changes to anybody want to speak up for the changes to the agenda?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous. Item 2, community announcements. Do we have any? No community announcements? Item 3, consent agenda. Recommended by the staff to approval of the consented items by one motion. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second it with clarity that it's items A through D.
A through D.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? No opposals? Motion carries. Item 4, action items, we have none. Reports. Smith? Wait, Director of Operations, excuse me.
Sorry, a bit of multitasking today. I did want to take a moment to thank Mike Thorburn from Cal State LA, who is representing for the Unmanned Aerial Systems competition that will be held here on June 7th. So very grateful. I did ask him if he would be able to stop by today in case the board had any questions following the resolution passing. Okay, well, with that, let me get mine. As I had mentioned, we are working on finalizing the information for the Cal State LA Unmanned Aerial Systems competition. This competition is very important to a lot of individuals, not just in the Southern California area, but throughout the country. And then we even had international students. David will talk a little bit more about that later, unless you wanted me to take it.
Right ahead.
I'm looking for approval from Scott. Okay, so we were able to have a successful competition last year. I believe it was June 22nd last year, in which we had multiple students come out and be able to compete. We're also working with a lot of our mission partners here at Mojave, such as Scale Composites, Northrop Grumman, any of our UAS focused entities here. And part of this, having this competition here is part of our mission to continue outreach to local universities, local schools, even going into high school, middle school ages. One, to show what an amazing facility Mojave Air and Spaceport is, what incredible opportunities there are here for growth, and to generate interest in aviation, as well as connect our mission partners with these talent pipelines as they're building and developing their programs. So we are very excited to be able to host the competition again this year. Are there any questions for you? Yes, sir.
Are local schools sent an invitation for their admin or teachers to attend this?
I don't believe we've done that quite yet, but we can absolutely.
Well, since that's kind of a potentially target future market, just the fact that we invite them, I don't know that they would attend, but I think it would be.
Absolutely. So we can work on that. And Carrie has said something we'll work with Nicole because she has the best contacts for like current education and local area schools. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we do need to make certain we coordinate that with Cal State, because this is really their event that we're allowing them to.
Sure, you don't know, this could turn into something even greater, but you got to get This interested parties involved.
area is just an outdoor,
It is outdoor, yes.
okay, and where they're gonna be doing these on,
So we're starting midfield. Tower will be open. Each flight is about a minute long. So we are coordinating airspace to ensure that we are not suffering any significant closures. If we have an aircraft either needing to depart or land here at Mojave, we will ground the competition aircraft in accordance with the FAA Part 107 regulations, and then take care of manned air travel as soon as that area is deemed safe, both by the operations crews on the ground and the tower. Then we will resume the UAS.
where are they gonna do the competition at, on the airfield?
Our base is at the Compass Rose.
Compass Rose.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
That's where we had it last year, and we had a tarp just west of Taxiway Echo, used as a target spot
Gotcha,
for
okay.
them to deliver packages.
In a viewing area or?
The ramp over here at transient parking in front of Building 58. We are limiting vehicles and actual attendees on the ramp space, or not on the ramp space, I apologize, on the Compass Rose itself, because
sure.
it is so close to the movement area.
We're comfortable with FAAs. Do we need to get a blessing or?
We are already working on that. So what
Okay.
we do is we request a certificate of authorization from the FAA. And we're working with that office to ensure that there's no hiccups, that we're following by all of their rules as well as all of ours.
Great.
when is this taking place?
June 7th?
At what time? All day in the morning?
I believe, Michael, do you remember what time we're starting?
Well, I think it depends on how many teams come, but it will be 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning when we start.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was
so
a
are
lot
we.
of fun last year. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
And again, I think it's important to attract local schools, or at least notify.
I'm sure California State University would like the free publicity as well. Like, hey, look at what our students get to do.
Sure, absolutely.
Are they gonna be flying around the Compass Rose in between the runways, or actually?
We have a set course. It'll be in the grassy areas within, and there's a couple different, there's point-to-point targets, and then there's package delivery where they pick up a small package and then deliver it to a target.
Okay,
Would this be autonomously? Or is it
No,
pilot?
so we have to have a pilot on the ground because of
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
FAA stuff.
Okay.
We do need a pilot in command for these.
I wonder if I should bring a helmet.
Fortunately, we do have very qualified professors that will be attending for the students. All right, and are there any other items to touch on for me or for Mike? I think I pulled him out of class to join us for questions.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds good. We would look forward to it.
Awesome. Yes, sir.
I've got a question unrelated to this, but on your operations report, or operations count, a comment about the US Air Force going off without issue. What is the deal with the agreement we have with them when they're here as far as using the gym?
Let me release Mr. Thornburg,
Okay,
and then
sure.
I'll get right to that, and I will absolutely address the gym concerns.
Sure.
Mike, did you have anything else to add before we let you run away?
I want to express our gratitude on behalf of the Cal State and the other schools. This year, Bakersfield's going to come, Cal State Bakersfield, Cal State Channel Islands, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, San Diego State, Cal State LA. We're all planning on being there. Cornell is going to come on the other end of the spectrum. So it should be a really nice event. A lot of local schools, and it's a really nice thing that you guys are helping us with.
You have a bleacher area? Sounds like we need to bring some in.
Very excited. Well, thank you so much,
Okay.
Mike.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Of
Look
course.
forward to seeing you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so getting into the operations counts, aircraft operations saw an increase 107 civilian aircraft and 91 military aircraft during towered hours as compared to January of 2024. We did have 5 military aircraft here with multiple operations the week of the 27th, and that was for the Air Force exercise that was conducted here at Mojave during that week. And we also saw increased fueling activities specific to military aircraft, such as hot fuels, warm fuels, cold fuels. We have been noticing an increase of those fuel sales and making Mojave be a good point for these aircraft to be able to come in. I don't know if you heard outside, we did have a Black Hawk came in just for lunch and a little bit of fuel. So we're starting to notice a lot more of those increases, and we're excited to be able to support our military partners. The Air Force exercise went off without a hitch. One day I forgot they were here, which is usually a good sign of a military exercise. Like, oh, wait, that's right, the Air Force is here. And if you guys were here for last year's exercise, it was nice to have less earthquake. And what else do we have in that one? Earthquake, wildfire, lightning storm. We had fun last year. Yeah, this year it was really peaceful. It was great. They were able to accomplish what they came out to accomplish. So we are grateful. For the yes, sir.
I just got, what determines it? You just mentioned the Black Hawk. What determines that they come here and fuel? The pilot?
So it's based on what they're, and David can talk a lot more about this, but from my understanding, it's based on if they have a particular flight route, if they can, swing by Mojave, if they decide to fly. Some of them fly in for lunch and get fuel while they're here.
My question is, obviously, opportunity for more fuel sales. Is there something we can do that?
So there is, by the way, Ariel's exactly accurate. To add on to that, the pilots are required to do so many strange field approaches and landings. This particular Black Hawk here today is a National Guard helicopter out of Los Alamitos. So we have some interface and good relationships with the Guard at Los Alamitos in a small way due to some people at the table. So we work closely with them. Additionally, the Navy really likes coming down here from China Lake and from Ventura side and Lemoore. So they enjoy coming in here. We get considerable approaches, but not a lot of full stops out of Edwards. On the Guard side, we're planting some seeds up at Fresno, the 144th Fighter Wing, to bring in their F-15s and the F-16 transients that they bring in for alert. So hopefully we continue to grow this military marketplace here. There are some very viable reasons that I was going to talk to in the next report, but I'll just talk to it now. It is not an accident we're seeing a huge increase in military exercises looking at strange field applicability. And there's going to be guidance coming out here shortly from the Department of Defense to include larger community involvement in what we really see the threat as with the People's Republic of China. Now, I want to be very clear, DOD is very clear. We have no issue with the Chinese people or the nation of China. We have an issue with the Chinese Communist Party.
Exactly.
So there are legitimate concerns there, and these exercises are largely being done to prepare for the possibility of a near-peer competitor global competition. What that would look like in today's age, we just don't know. It may be all cyber, it may be non-kinetic. We don't know. But we do need to prepare for it historically, and I believe personally this to be accurate. The United States concept of deterrence has worked. And hopefully the demonstrated strength of our military through this robust exercise process will continue to demonstrate that concept of viable deterrence, and that you would simply need to be a fool to take action against the United States of America. So hopefully a concept of peace through strength is what is being portrayed by DOD at this point.
That's good.
Thank you.
Sorry, Ariel.
Of course. The gym, basically when the Air Force comes in or any military entity looking to utilize our spaces, the fitness center does come up in conversation. So what they do are per diem type agreements with the fitness center for their military members to be able to use it. That agreement is solely between the fitness center, as they are, I don't want to say tenant, I can feel mission partners. There we go.
Yeah.
Management company, that's a good one, thank you. It's between that company and the Air Force how they decide to work that out, but typically they provide just a per diem rate for the 2 weeks or so that they're here.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any further questions for me on the operations side? Yes.
All right, B, CEO, Dr.
Sure.
Smith.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. No change on the hangar updates. I did have lunch with Mr. Nash on Saturday. And by the way, while I was here, Plane Crazy was going on, and I will offer that was knocked out of the park. In all seriousness, I was looking at the overflow crowd in this room
Yeah.
and wondering if we may want to start thinking about Plane Crazy moving to a larger venue like Stu Witt for some of these more robust events.
Maybe.
It was wonderful to see the kind of crowd that's being drawn to Plane Crazy.
Mhm. The ramp was full of airplanes. It was a beautiful day.
It was absolutely beautiful. But unfortunately for the board, I don't have any clear updates on hangars other than the communications are still there, and we're working with both
That's
agencies
good.
to hopefully move forward to getting us some more housing for our aviation assets. XCOM, I wanted to just clarify on just a little bit. What that is the executive committee of the Air and Space Force Association here locally. That relationship with that 501c3 outside of our property is very robust, as they have strong aviation connections throughout really the entire nation,
Mhm.
but much rooted in Southern California, and a very strong relationship with Edwards and Plant 42 that we need to foster that good relationship with because of things like the 2508 complex. So it's a good relationship to continue to foster.
Yes.
The Thunderbirds were kind of a fun thing. Received a personal invite to go over and watch their final show at Edwards with General Wicker, and they weathered out. So,
Yeah.
but did have an opportunity to chat. And once again, they've interestingly, and I find this of note, and again, it's a prestige thing as I see it from Mojave here at Spaceport. They would prefer doing the rehearsals here than at Edwards. Better access to airspace, less conflicts on the ground.
Right.
They just would prefer here, but it's unfortunate that they believe they have to bring a TFR with them wherever they go.
Mhm.
So the idea of closing down the airfield's untenable as a public use airport. So maybe something else could be worked out in the future. The Blue Angels don't bring a TFR with them when they go out and rehearse. They use protected airspace, but they deconflict like any other aircraft deconflicts.
Well, yeah, because I thought they moved away from the airport they're stationed at and do their rehearsals out here. And
They do, and that's why one might be able to argue the TFR point. But with my history in our United States Air Force, very respectfully, I will mention that sometimes we have a little trouble getting away from our own rules. So the TFR is right now just the way they do business.
so it just means that if they're here, the airport has to be completely closed down.
When they operate.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that precludes that.
Got to find a way around it.
Yes, got to. Tahoe Truckee was a very interesting visit. Now, as I briefed at the last board meeting, went up there to take a look at their SAF fuels program.
Mhm.
And they had numerous airports, the numerous fuel resources up there. My perception is what they're doing with SAF right now may very well become the future and may very well become mandatory,
Mm.
but I don't see it as the right time and the right place for Mojave. their marketplace does not blink an eye at $7.11 a gallon for jet A.
Not their market.
Their market doesn't blink. They see they're doing a good thing for the environment, et cetera, and they're happy to absorb that cost. The profit margin that the airport gets for that fuel, they reduce, and the amount that the customer pays goes up. So they're not making as much as they were making on fuels, but they also receive quite a bit of compensation from their tax base, which we don't do here. And I think I take that as a very proud point that we're not assessing our community. So absolutely intriguing presentation. I don't see right now that we're in a place to absorb that kind of sticker shock.
No.
But I think it was valuable orientation and training, as I do believe that at some point SAF is going to happen. As we continue to march down this road towards a zero carbon footprint for aviation assets. Yeah. Now SAF is not zero carbon, but it moves in that direction.
Yeah.
So, the interface with AV Edge is quite valuable. We sit on the board of directors, myself personally, that Mojave and Spaceport as a corporate entity. Today's board meeting brought up something quite interesting, and Jennifer Zella is looking how she, by the way, she's president of Antelope Valley College, can structure educational opportunities to focus on what it is that we need as her customer. So I see us more so representing the needs for our various mission partners here, but internally we could do things as well. One of the ideas being kicked around is maybe to support our director of ops, an internship program for ops personnel, where they could come out here while they're in school, getting the education they need to fundamentally do that job, could come out here and walk the dirt while still in school in an unpaid position as an intern. So the college is very excited about empowering things like that, as well as working with our mission partners across the board, the Scales, the Strato Launch, the MPPS, et cetera, in determining what training they need, whether it be A&Ps, whether it be engineering, whatever it is they functionally need for outcomes. So I think that's valuable.
Because the Antelope Valley College, they have a baccalaureate in avionics, don't they?
Yes, they do.
I just found that out.
Yeah. So they want to broaden their programs and target them to the community, which I think is a great thing and can benefit not just us, but everybody across this whole aerospace valley.
Yeah.
That can have a benefit there. The FAA conference, the one day, it was the FAA Spaceport conference in DC. A bit exhausting, but valuable. While there, discussed further with multiple people there, other opportunities for launch. And I will mention that Chuck McCormick should be on the call from Mead and Hunt, who works with us, is another mission partner with us under contract to provide engineering services. And Mr. McCormick and an associate are going to visit next week to discuss further what kind of opportunities might be there and how we can look at what the future might look like as we expand operations. Again, we want to make sure Ariel doesn't have sharp objects right now, but there is a massive push on the national level for improving vertical launch capability. That the major vertical launch sites that we all know of are simply all task saturated.
Yeah.
And part of this, frankly, relates to the earlier discussion about the Chinese Communist Party. If we're going to have robust and resilient access to space, we may need to diversify our available launch locations away from, I'll call them target areas like Vandenberg and Canaveral.
Will become
So-
the new target.
I'm sorry?
Will become the new target.
Well, hopefully, if we were to provide an adversary with multiple targets.
I get what you're saying, I'm just.
Right.
Okay.
And again, we don't know what that if there were to be a conflict, we don't know what it would look like. There's considerable discussion that went on there that many of the prognosticators believe that it would be non-kinetic, but that doesn't make it less devastating. If you think of it, if you're at home and somebody turns off your water for you and it won't come back on for a month and a half, that's a fairly untenable situation. So anyhow, fascinating conference, very valuable, and it was wonderful to have Chuck McCormick and his teammates at that and the prior space mobility conference that we were able to spend some time and break bread at together and talk further about a journey for Mojave here in Spaceport moving forward. They are also going to work with us on our master plan.
Yeah, and knowing what that potentially could look like, whether it's a direction we think we might want to go or.
And that's what we're doing at this point. And Chuck may want to speak to that. We're gathering the information we need so the board can make functional decisions on recommendation of staff.
Yeah, because it sounds like there's potentially a huge need for it.
I believe there is.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, if you think of it, an example that was brought up at the FAA conference was just a handful of years ago. If we had 2 launches in a year, it was kind of a big deal. 2 weeks ago, we had 5 launches in a day. So the robustness has gone up considerably.
Do we track probably specific rocket engine tests per day, per month? I think we're high on the scale there, aren't we? Still, I hear them, so.
We do track it. They all report in, so we know when they're testing, when they're not testing, what their QDs are. We need all that so that ops and facilities can maintain safe separation on the ground.
Well, I think that number makes a huge statement. When you look at the number of tests that we have here, that makes a statement to the industry, hey guys, they're going to be pushing something.
Right, and something very robust pointed out to me by our ops staff was that the minute there's anything that looks like a rumor of a test site becoming available, oh my goodness, it's blood in the water because sharks start circling. Everybody wants it.
And that used to be vacant ground, and that's what we determined. There was huge potential on that vacant ground, and now, because of buffers especially, it's becoming a challenge.
Right, so I would offer in closing, these are exciting times with a lot of opportunities, but I think it'd also be prudent that we walk first, understand what we're dealing with before we make commitments that may have consequences associated that impact the airport.
David, I'll throw in, this is Chuck, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Loud and clear, Chuck.
Thank you. Yeah, great attending the conference there. Really, it's amazing that, like you say, the pace of launch is incredible what it's doing. But like you mentioned, we'll be meeting with you next week with one of our key teaming partners who has regarding, inland launch capabilities. So kind of like you said, walking down that road. So really the system has other options other than the 2 main ones that everybody knows of.
Okay. I got to make a comment, Chuck. Your screen behind you looks awful green.
Yeah.
I took that picture, oh gosh, when was it? I was up at the airport, just up there, I think it was last April or so. So yeah, we had a lot of rain last year, right?
Yeah, I was going, man, that's
Flowers.
it could be misleading. And
All right,
Subject to the questions of the board.
we're good. C, move on. Board committees, we have none. On to director comments on items not on the agenda. Anybody like to comment?
your hair looks so wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
Which one?
All right, we have to move to closed
Part
session.
around the edge.
Would you like me to remain?
Yes, sir. Probably full of electricity, huh?
Do we need the mics on?